Hey everyone, I'm Joe and today I'm going to be doing a book review of the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. This is the first book in the Broken Earth trilogy. This particular book won the 2016 Hugo Award, the second book won the 2017 Hugo Award, and the third book has been nominated for this year's the 2018 Hugo Award. And I thought it seemed appropriate timing to review the first book because I will be attending the Hugo Award this year. Now, this is a fantasy trilogy with some interesting ideas and some good writing. And I'll first talk about the synopsis. So, first of all, the trilogy name, The Broken Earth, refers to the fact that this is a world which suffers from earthquakes. Geologically, this world is extremely unstable. There can be earthquakes and tremors randomly without warning all over the place. And the 5th season refers to the fact that it's sort of like an informal name to something where basically it is a sort of earthquake season essentially, but quite a severe one. Every so many years this happens and it really messes everything up obviously because they try to do their best to make things relatively earthquake proof, but nothing can be that earthquake proof because you are living on the earth after all. And this is a sort of bit of a sort of apocalypse season, so to speak, and things go wrong. And in the 5th season, it's worse than normal because this next 5th season is predicted, and they are rather good at predicting these things by now, to be very, very long. I mean, exceptionally long. Normally they are a few years. This one is predicted to be multiple decades, and this will be a complete disaster because obviously when a 5th season starts, this obviously triggers volcanoes as well, and that puts out plumes of ash clouds and such, which means that you can't grow crops. And if this is going to be for a couple of decades, then basically the population of virtually the whole world is going to starve to death. And this is a kind of an apocalyptic event, so this is a complete disaster that's just about to start happening and nobody knows it's about to happen because they just think it's going to be a normal 5th season. So, it's not too much of a problem yet. And the main character, well, there are several of them, but is a woman who has concerns with what she is because she is a origin, which is one of the people in this world who can actually control the earth, and they are used normally to sort of stabilise things. But there are some origins who are not registered and not used by essentially the government of the world. She's one of them, but they are feared because of course the 5th season is disastrous and people tend to think that they are responsible, even though that's not necessarily automatically true. As far as the world building is concerned, it is relatively light. You're not told too much about the world or about how anybody interacts with each other because you are seeing the world through the eyes of several different female characters who are all very interesting in their own way, but they're not viewing the world through political eyes or through larger eyes, so to speak. They are quite focused on their concerns. Therefore, you don't see the bigger picture, which I think is a shame because it would have been interesting to see. You only get sort of a general idea, a general feel of things, but it's understandable and the characters are done well. Indeed, the character development and the character building is what makes this book what it is because it's done well. It's done in a rather interesting and curious way. There are some twists and turns. Obviously, that is the case for practically every book, so I'm not giving away anything there. And because of the fact that one of the characters at least is a origin, this presents some interesting questions and raises some interesting problems because these origins are not exactly liked. They're not feared, but they're not liked either. And they are used as well when they can be. And it's an interesting combination. So where do they fit in and can they fit in ultimately? The pacing of the book is also pretty good as well. Sometimes there are a few slightly slow moments, which I hoped would be a little bit quicker. But again, this is something that can be overlooked fairly easily because it is only a few very slight moments. It's nothing significant. It doesn't really, affect the book in any horrible way. It's a few little moments here and there. You can just push it away and forget really, because the rest of the pacing is spot on, and the way the characters interact with the world where it's described and things is good for the most part. Now, there is one thing though that I want to address, which I've not really heard many other people when I've seen this book reviewed talk about, because this book has many areas to think on, and generally when people review it, people often seem to focus on one area, and indeed that is what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to focus on the one that I had a big issue with, and indeed it's a reason, fairly significant reason, why I had problems enjoying this book. And whilst I think it was, and do think it is a well written book, I can't say I actually over enjoyed it as a book and as an experience. It was actually kind of miserable for the subject I'm about to go into. And that is the fact that this whole society is based on slavery. Not just part of the society, but the whole world society is based on slavery. Because they use our genes to try and maintain and calm the land down. Essentially, they are constantly asked to sort of monitor for any underground sort of unevenness in pressure and things, in plate tectonics, and try and calm them down before it happens. And they're not just asked to do this, they are forced to do this, because they are indentured and unasked slaves. There is no two ways about this. They are treated worse than cattle. At least with cattle, you know that cattle produce better products when they're treated well. With other genes, you don't need to treat them that well, and indeed nobody does, because as long as they are not starving to death and they have just got the bare minimum to live on, that's all that matters. So you can abuse them and do all sorts of horrific things to them, and indeed this is the case. And the whole population of this world is perfectly okay with this. Nobody seems to care that you've got a sort of a race, I suppose you could say, origins are, of people that are just in slavery, and everybody's perfectly okay with it. Now, the reason for it is because of the 5th season and the earthquakes, which is understandable in a sense, but the thing that I don't get is, in this world, there is actually technology and there is electric. It's not advanced, it's mainly just basic lighting and heating and such in some cases, but it is there. And my thought is, why is this technology not getting worked on, and why is somebody not trying to advance their technology to a point where they can use it themselves to detect what the origins do, and basically that they can use it to replace the origins. Nobody seems to be bothered by this. There seems to be no mention of it, which I found. I'm not surprised because of the style of the book and the way it goes, but I would have liked to have seen that personally, because it does seem something that seems to be missed, because I can't think a society would be quite happy to use slavery on such a mass scale, so just an everyday purpose, for decades, generations. You get the impression that it could be thousands of years that this has happened, and nobody would think that, maybe we should look into the technology that we've got, the electric and things, and try and actually improve it and build new technology and try and make it so the origins actually have a half decent life. That's never mentioned, it's never brought up, and I think it's kind of disturbing, and it shows that this population is actually a bit of an unusual one, I think, because surely if this was a sort of a human population as such, you would hope that they would actually look into this, and there's no mention of it ever. Everybody seems perfectly happy with treating them like garbage, and I didn't like it because this book to me had a slightly negative and a slightly pessimistic feel to it, and I'm classing myself as an eternal optimist. I always think I'm the best of things, so this didn't sit well with me, frankly, because of this reason, and I did have trouble enjoying it, as I said earlier. But overall, though, I enjoyed the book as a whole. in terms of the writing and the characters and such, I just didn't enjoy the actual plot because it was negative, and I'm an optimist, so it was a bit of a downer for me personally, and it might have been the wrong time for me to read it. Maybe I needed to be in a different kind of mood and different frame of mind to read this, but really I don't think I'm going to wait until I'm in a particular frame of mind to read it, because I think that's a strange way of going about books. But overall, it's worth reading, and if you can get over the things that I said, then you will enjoy it more than I did. I just had personal issues with it. Like, it's a personality clash with me, and the feel of the book just didn't work the way I thought it was going to. But overall, it is good, just not strictly speaking for me. I will be reading the second and third books in this trilogy, however. I mean, they are Hugo Award-winning after all, and well, the third book may well be. But for now, I say it's okay, personally, not anything fantastic for me personally. Anyway, so that's it for this review. If you've read this book or this trilogy and you'd like to talk about it, then please leave a comment and we can have a discussion. If you have any books you might want to suggest that you think I might enjoy based on this, then again, leave a comment, because I'm always interested in new authors and new genres and everything else. All my social media links can be found in the description box below. And with that said, that is it for this review. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.